God's chosen one, you won't believe what God's about to make happen. Watch now. Have you felt that strange stirring in your spirit lately? Those unexplainable chills running down your spine at random moments? The sudden tears that come without reason? It's not just you. It's heaven trying to get your attention. Chosen one. Yes, you watching right now. This isn't random. This isn't coincidence. This is divine appointment. God has guided your fingers to this very video because He has a message specifically for you. A message so urgent, the angels themselves are restless with anticipation. The veil between heaven and earth is thinning right where you are. Can you feel it? That heaviness in the atmosphere? That's the weight of divine revelation about to break through. Something extraordinary is about to happen in your life. Something so magnificent, so unexpected, that when it manifests, you'll fall to your knees in awe. God has been preparing this moment for you since before you were born. The struggles you've endured, the tears you've cried when no one was watching, the prayers that seemed to hit the ceiling and fall back down, they weren't in vain. They were preparation. Your season of waiting is over. I need you to hear me. Your season of waiting is over. Heaven is erupting with activity over your situation right now. The angels are positioning themselves. Spiritual forces are aligning. And God Himself is about to demonstrate His power in your life in ways that will leave those around you speechless. Comment 888 below right now if you feel that something big is coming. Don't just read this passively. Your engagement is an act of faith. Like this video as a spiritual declaration that you're ready to receive what God has prepared. I want to thank every single one of you who has supported this ministry through Super Thanks. Your generosity means more than you know. You're not just donating. You're sowing seeds into fertile ground, helping spread divine light to others who feel alone in their calling. Whether you give or not, I'm deeply grateful for your presence here. Your support, your time, your attention, it all matters in the spiritual realm. Listen closely, chosen one. The heavens are about to open. What's coming isn't just a blessing, it's a complete divine realignment of everything you've been praying for. Are you ready? Have you ever wondered why your path has been harder than others? Why doors that swing wide open for some remain stubbornly locked for you? Why your prayers seem to echo in empty rooms while others receive instant answers? These aren't coincidences, they're confirmations. When was the last time you felt truly seen? Not by the world with its shallow judgments, but by the Creator who knit you together in your mother's womb. The one who counted every hair on your head before you took your first breath. Listen to me carefully. Your life is not random. Your existence is not an accident. You are a deliberate creation, handpicked by God for this exact moment in history. The divine fingerprints are all over your story, even the chapters you wish you could tear out. The world looks at you and sees ordinary. Heaven looks at you and sees extraordinary potential that hasn't yet been unleashed. Your name is etched in divine records, marked for a purpose that's bigger than anything you've dared to dream. Those tears you've cried in the middle of the night, God collected every single one. That pain that cut so deep you couldn't breathe, He felt it with you. The rejection that made you question your worth. It was preparation, not punishment. Don't you see it yet? You've been in divine training. Remember Joseph? Before he ever stood in Pharaoh's palace, he languished in a prison cell, forgotten and abandoned. Before he saved nations, he was sold by his own brothers. Before he wore royal robes, he wore the garments of a slave. Did God abandon him in those dark moments? No, every betrayal was positioning him. Every setback was setting him up. Every delay was developing him for his destiny. Your story echoes his. Those relationships that crumbled, those opportunities that vanished, those dreams that died, they weren't the end. They were making space for something greater. You are being positioned for a purpose that requires every ounce of your pain as preparation. What if I told you that Moses spent 40 years in the wilderness before he ever saw a burning bush? 40 years of silence. 40 years wondering if God had forgotten him. Yet it was in that wilderness that he was being shaped into the deliverer of a nation. Your wilderness has purpose. Your waiting has meaning. Your suffering is sacred ground where God is doing his deepest work. Or consider David, anointed as king, then hunted like an animal, promised a throne, then forced to hide in caves. Did the delay mean denial? Did the suffering signal abandonment? No. It was in those caves that the psalmist was born. It was in those desperate moments that he learned to worship. It was in the darkness that he discovered the light that would guide generations. What if your darkness is doing the same for you? The chosen ones always face the fiercest battles. The called ones always endure the deepest pain. The appointed ones always walk the loneliest roads. Not because God has abandoned them, but because he is preparing them for glory too weighty for unprepared shoulders. Look at your scars. Really look at them. Those aren't marks of failure, they're medals of honor. They're evidence that you've been chosen for something too significant for smooth sailing, too important for an easy path. The enemy doesn't waste ammunition on those who pose no threat. Your warfare is evidence of your worth. Do you understand what I'm telling you? The attacks against your mind, your health, your finances, your relationships, they're not random. They're targeted precisely because of what you carry, because of who you are becoming. Your greatest pain points directly to your greatest purpose. Can you feel it? That's stirring in your spirit right now. That's not emotion, that's recognition. Your spirit recognizing truth. Your mind has been too wounded to accept. You are chosen. You are called. You are appointed for this moment. God doesn't choose the qualified. He qualifies the chosen. And everything you've endured has been qualifying you for a level of glory, influence, and purpose that will astound you when it's finally revealed. The question isn't whether you've been chosen. The question is, will you finally step into the destiny that's been waiting for you? Stop waiting for permission to be who God created you to be. Stop apologizing for the calling that burns in your bones. Stop hiding the gifts the world desperately needs. Your moment is here. Your time is now. Your preparation is complete. The world has been waiting for what only the chosen ones can bring. And make no mistake, you are among them. The evidence is in every tear you've shed, every battle you've fought, and every time you rose when falling seemed easier. What happens next in your story isn't just about you. It's about the divine appointment between your purpose and this pivotal moment in history. Will you answer the call that's been echoing your name since before time began? Are you ready to discover exactly what God has been preparing you for all this time? Because what's coming next will leave you breathless with the realization of just how intimately God knows you, how powerfully He's equipped you, and how perfectly He's positioned you for such a time as this. Listen carefully, chosen one. I need you to hear me clearly right now. Heaven's alarm bells are ringing, and they're ringing for you. Did you feel that shift in your spirit as I said those words? That's not coincidence. That's confirmation. The divine timekeeper has his hand on the clock, and the hour is later than you think. God has been trying to get your attention for months, sending signs you've either missed or dismissed. Hear me when I say this. You are standing at a divine crossroads, 1 foot in your current reality and 1 foot at the threshold of heaven's open door. But this door won't stay open forever. In Revelation 3:8, God declares, "See, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut." But what Scripture also reveals is that some doors do close. Ask the 5 foolish virgins who weren't prepared when the bridegroom came. When Noah built the ark, people laughed. They mocked. They went about their normal lives until the rain came and then it was too late. The door of the ark closed. Let me be painfully direct with you. At the end of this month, a predestined door of blessing with your name on it will open. It's already been set in motion in the spiritual realm. The angels are positioning themselves. Heaven's resources are being gathered, but only those who are spiritually awake will recognize it. Only those who are aligned will walk through it. You've been stuck between wanting and having for far too long, wanting that breakthrough, wanting that healing, wanting that financial miracle, wanting that reconciliation. Can I be brutally honest with you? Wanting isn't enough anymore. The time for passive faith is over. Look at your life right now. Those dreams that keep you up at night, the prayers you've whispered through tears, that burden that feels too heavy to carry another day. God sees it all, and He's saying, enough. It's time for my child to receive. But here's the devastating truth most spiritual leaders won't tell you. Some of God's chosen ones will miss their appointed blessing. Not because God withholds it, but because they weren't positioned to receive it. In Esther 4:14, Mordecai warned Esther, "If you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance will arise from another place. And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this." Chosen one, this is your such a time as this moment. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Heaven's stopwatch is counting down. The blessing that has your name on it, that healing, that financial breakthrough, that restoration, it's being prepared right now. But if you're not aligned, if you're not positioned in faith, if you're not spiritually attuned, you could walk right past your miracle and never even recognize it. I couldn't sleep last night. I was literally shaking, pacing my floor at 3 a.m. because God impressed upon my spirit how many people watching this right now are dangerously close to missing their divine appointment. Ask yourself this question and be brutally honest. Am I truly ready for what God has prepared for me? Or am I just comfortable talking about it, dreaming about it, praying about it, without actually positioning myself to receive it? In Habakkuk 2-3, God promises, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time. Though it tarries, wait for it, because it will surely come." Your appointed time isn't coming, chosen one. It's here. The waiting season is over, but the receiving season requires you to be aligned. Stop everything right now. This is not just another YouTube video. This is a divine intervention. Heaven has orchestrated this moment. I need you to do something that might seem small in the natural realm, but it's powerful in the spiritual realm. Pause this video for just 3 seconds, take a deep breath, and type below, "I'm aligning." This isn't just a comment, it's a spiritual declaration. It's you telling heaven, "I recognize this moment. I am positioning myself. I am ready to walk through the open door." Those who are serious about their breakthrough will do this. Those who are just spiritual tourists will keep scrolling. Which one are you? For those who just aligned, I feel the atmosphere shifting around you already. There's a weight of glory descending. The same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead is hovering over your situation right now. But we're just getting started. What God revealed to me next about your specific breakthrough is going to leave you speechless. The big story is going on behind the scenes. Can I tell you something that might sound crazy? Right now, in this very moment, there's an invisible war being waged over your destiny. A divine orchestration happening in realms you cannot see with your natural eyes. You've been feeling it, haven't you? That restlessness in your spirit. That sense that something's shifting, even though nothing in your physical world has changed yet. Listen to me carefully, chosen one. What you're experiencing isn't random, it's not coincidence, it's not your imagination running wild. It's heaven rearranging everything around you. Think about a mighty oak tree. What you see above ground, the trunk, the branches, the leaves, that's only half the story. Beneath the soil, where no human eye can witness, An elaborate root system is expanding. Silent, powerful, relentless. Those roots push through hard soil, break apart rocks, and reach deep into the earth for nourishment. This is exactly what's happening in your spirit right now. For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen, since what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. 2 Corinthians 4:17-18. Have you been having strange dreams lately? Vivid visions that stay with you throughout the day? Are you suddenly noticing certain numbers appearing everywhere? 11 on the clock, 333 on a license plate, 777 on a receipt. These aren't coincidences, they're divine breadcrumbs. Heaven's way of saying, we're working behind the scenes. We haven't forgotten you. Think of it like this. Before a powerful thunderstorm unleashes its fury, there's often an eerie stillness. The sky might look clear, but atmospheric pressure is building. Forces are gathering, energy is accumulating, and then, boom, the heavens break open with lightning, thunder, and rain. Your breakthrough is building just like that storm. Right now, God is repositioning people in your life. Some are being removed. Have you noticed certain friendships suddenly feeling distant? That's not rejection, that's divine protection. Some connections aren't meant to enter your next season. Financial doors that seemed welded shut are being silently unlocked. Opportunities that weren't even on your radar are being created specifically for you. Dreams you buried long ago, dreams you thought were dead and gone, are being resurrected. And you haven't seen any of it yet with your natural eyes. But you felt it, haven't you? When Joseph was in that prison cell, falsely accused and seemingly forgotten, he had no idea that Pharaoh was having troubling dreams that would soon lead to his promotion. When David was hiding in caves, running for his life from Saul, he couldn't see that God was preparing him to be king. When Ruth was gleaning leftover grain in Boaz's field, she had no clue she was meeting her future husband and securing her place in the lineage of Jesus Christ. They couldn't see what was happening behind the scenes, and neither can you not yet. But I'm here to tell you, the underground river is flowing, the roots are growing, the storm is gathering. Your breakthrough isn't coming, it's already in motion. Have you been feeling more spiritually sensitive lately? More aware of God's presence, more attuned to the spiritual realm? Have your prayers become more intense, more focused, more desperate? If you're experiencing any of these signs, listen to me carefully. You are not crazy. You are not imagining things. You are awakening to the spiritual reality that's always been there. The prophet Elijah, in his darkest moment, thought he was alone. But God showed him there were 7,000 others who hadn't bowed to Baal. What Elijah couldn't see was happening all around him. Your life right now is like that moment before dawn, the darkest hour. It feels like night will last forever. But just beyond the horizon, completely invisible to you, the sun is already rising. Its light is already on the way. The darkness doesn't stand a chance. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Heaven is already moving on your behalf. Angels are already being dispatched. Miracles are already in progress. Answers to prayers you prayed years ago are finally breaking through the spiritual atmosphere and manifesting in your physical reality. The question isn't whether God is moving. The question is, are you ready for what happens when the invisible suddenly becomes visible? Because chosen one. When what's happening behind the scenes finally steps into the spotlight of your life, nothing will ever be the same again. And that brings me to the most important part of this message, the part that will determine whether you actually receive what heaven is preparing for you or whether you miss it completely. Climax 2, revelation from heaven. The thing you wanted for has been delivered. Chosen one, can you feel it? Something just shifted in the atmosphere. Right now, as I'm speaking these words, heaven is moving on your behalf. I need you to stop whatever you're doing. Put down your phone. Look up from your screen. Take a deep breath. God just whispered something to my spirit about you, and I have to deliver this message. That thing you've been praying for in the midnight hours, that burden that's made your pillow wet with tears night after night, that request you've whispered so many times, it feels like your lips know the words by heart. It's not just been heard, it's already been answered. Let me say that again, because I don't think you fully grasped what I just said. The prayer you've been carrying, the one that's made your knees calloused and your voice hoarse from begging God, it's already been answered. You've been looking ahead, waiting for God to move tomorrow, next week, next month. But I'm telling you, heaven has already issued the response. The answer isn't coming later, it's coming now. In Jeremiah 33:3, God promises, "Call to me, and I will answer you and tell you great and unsearchable things you do not know." Did you catch that? He didn't say, "Call to me, and maybe someday, if you're good enough, I'll think about answering." No, he said, "I will answer you. Your tears have not been wasted. Every single drop has been collected by the angels and transformed into a rain of blessing that's about to pour down on your life." Think about this. In Psalm 56:8, David writes, "You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your book." Do you understand what that means? God has been keeping an account of every tear you've cried, every disappointed sigh, every moment you felt forgotten. Not one tear has escaped his notice. And now, right now, those tears are being transformed into a harvest of joy. Those sobs that shook your body in the dark, they're turning into praise that will shake the foundations of your future. That pain that made you question if God was even listening, it's becoming the very platform on which he will display his faithfulness. Look at what happened to Job. Everything was taken from him, his health, his wealth, his children. For 37 chapters, he questioned, he pleaded, he wondered where God was. But then, in chapter 38, God showed up. And the Bible says in Job 42:10, after Job had prayed for his friends, the Lord restored his fortunes and gave him twice as much as he had before. Did you hear that? Twice as much. What if your delay wasn't a denial? What if God was simply preparing a double portion? I don't care how impossible your situation looks right now. I don't care what the doctors said. I don't care what your bank account shows. I don't care what the relationship status says. When heaven issues a decree, nothing on earth can stop it. Isaiah 55:11 declares, "So is my word that goes out from my mouth. It will not return to me empty, but will accomplish what I desire and achieve the purpose for which I sent it." God's word over your life will not return void. That prayer you've been carrying, it's been delivered. The answer isn't something you have to wait for anymore. It's something you need to receive. Can you imagine what your life will look like 1 week from today, 1 month? When what you've been praying for suddenly manifests in full force, people around you will be stunned. They'll ask, "How did this happen? When did things change? What's different about you?" And all you'll be able to say is, "God remembered me. The prayer I thought was lost in the silence was actually being answered all along." Your tears are turning into triumph right before your eyes. Your mourning is becoming dancing. Your heaviness is being exchanged for a garment of praise. I prophesy to you today, what you have cried for, what you have been silent for, what you have fought for, it has already been answered by heaven. The manifestation is breaking through into your reality right now. The spiritual is becoming physical. The invisible is becoming visible. But here's the thing, chosen one. You have to reach out and take hold of it. Faith isn't passive, it's active. It grabs what God has already provided. Right now, wherever you are, I want you to physically lift your hands to heaven as a sign that you're ready to receive what God has already released. And then write in the comments, I receive it, to take spiritual ownership of that promise. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. Don't analyze. Just receive. Your season of begging is over. Your season of pleading is done. Today marks the transition from asking to receiving. The prayer has been answered. Chosen one. Heaven has delivered. Now all that's left is for you to open your hands and your heart and receive the miracle that's already yours. Comment, I receive it, right now, not as a ritual, but as a declaration that you're taking ownership of what God has already done. But how will this miracle actually manifest in your life? What should you expect in the coming days? The answer will leave you speechless. The invisible battle. The enemy knows you're about to rise. Have you noticed how everything seems to be fighting against you lately? How the moment you made that declaration of faith, all hell broke loose in your life? That's not a coincidence, chosen one. That's confirmation. The enemy doesn't waste ammunition on those who pose no threat. Satan doesn't mobilize his forces against the defeated. The darkness doesn't tremble before the powerless. When David was just a shepherd boy, nobody cared. But the moment he was anointed to be king, suddenly Saul's spear was flying at his head. When Joseph was just another brother, his siblings tolerated him. But when they sensed his destiny, they threw him in a pit. You see, the attack isn't evidence that you're failing. It's proof that you're about to break through. Listen to me carefully. In the spiritual realm, your enemies can see what you cannot. They can see the angelic reinforcements gathering. They can see the blessing with your name on it that's about to be released. They can see the mantle of authority that's hovering just above your head. And it terrifies them. Remember Elijah on Mount Carmel? He prayed for rain after 3 years of drought. He sent his servant to look, but the sky remained clear. Again and again, 6 times, nothing. The pressure was mounting. The false prophets were defeated. But where was the promised rain? On the 7th time, just when doubt could have crushed his spirit, his servant reported a cloud as small as a man's hand. That tiny cloud was all Elijah needed to know. A torrential downpour was imminent. Your cloud is forming right now. The enemy can see it, even if you can't. That's why the attacks have intensified. That's why your health broke down just as you committed to serve. That's why your finances took a hit right when you decided to be more generous. That's why relationships became strained the moment you set your face toward your calling. The enemy knows you're about to rise. Job lost everything in a single day. Did God abandon him? No. Satan had to get permission because he saw what was coming. Job's latter end was greater than his beginning. The pressure you're feeling isn't the weight of defeat. It's the resistance that comes right before breakthrough. It's the darkness fighting desperately because it knows dawn is about to break. It's the dust being kicked up because heaven's armies are marching in. Look at Daniel. When he prayed, the answer was dispatched immediately, but demonic forces fought for 21 days to prevent the breakthrough from reaching him. Why? Because they knew his prayer would change history. Chosen one, your prayers are changing history too. Your destiny is shaking the gates of hell. Your faithfulness is striking fear into the enemy camp. The roaring lion seeking someone to devour? He's not roaring because he's winning. He's roaring because he's desperate. He sees what's coming for you, and he's trying to intimidate you into surrender when victory is just steps away. You are not being destroyed. You are being positioned. The attack is not a sign of your weakness. It's a reaction to your imminent victory. The pressure isn't punishment. It's preparation. When a woman is in labor, the contractions are most painful right before the baby is born. Your breakthrough is being birthed right now, and the enemy is doing everything to stop that delivery. Moses faced Pharaoh's hardened heart and the Red Sea right before the miracle. Peter faced the storm right before walking on water. The disciples faced a hungry crowd with just loaves and fish right before abundance. You're not losing the battle. You're on the verge of your Red Sea moment. You're about to walk on water. You're about to see multiplication like never before. So stand firm, warrior of God. Put on the full armor. Raise your shield of faith. The fiery darts flying at you aren't signs of your defeat. They're desperate last attempts to stop what heaven has already decreed over your life. If David had surrendered when Saul pursued him, he would never have become king. If Joseph had broken in prison, he would never have saved nations. If Elijah had stopped at the 6th prayer, the rain would never have come. Your 7th time is here. Your suddenly is at the door. Your against all odds miracle is being released. The invisible battle raging around you is proof that you are closer than you've ever been. If you are still standing despite everything that's come against you, despite the doctor's reports, despite the bank statements, despite the broken relationships, despite the voices saying it's over, I need you to make a declaration right now. Comment, "Still standing," below this video. Let heaven and earth witness that you have not and will not give up. Let the enemy see that his attacks have only made you stronger. Let God know that your faith remains unshaken. The darkest hour comes just before dawn. And chosen one, I promise you, your dawn is breaking. Can you feel it? The atmosphere shifting around you. That's not just hope, that's heaven moving on your behalf. And nothing can stop what God has ordained for you. Can you feel it? Right now, in this very moment, something is shifting in the atmosphere around you. The air feels different, doesn't it? Heavier, charged with divine electricity. Chosen one, I need you to understand what's happening right now. After all those nights of crying into your pillow, wondering if God had forgotten you. After all those prayers that seemed to vanish into thin air. After all those moments when you thought, maybe this is just how my story ends. Heaven is moving. Do you know what happens when the impossible collides with divine timing? Do you know what occurs when human limitations meet God's unlimited power? Everything changes in an instant. You've been carrying that burden for so long that your shoulders have permanently curved under its weight. You've gotten so used to disappointment that you've started to expect it. You've been told no so many times that you've stopped asking. But God says, this stops today. In the book of Job, after 7 chapters of suffering, God turned everything around. Job 42:10 tells us, the Lord restored the fortunes of Job when he prayed for his friends, and the Lord increased all that Job had twofold. Not just restored, doubled. In Exodus, the Israelites stood with their backs against the Red Sea, enemy forces closing in, absolutely nowhere to go. Death seemed certain. The situation, impossible. But God said to Moses in Exodus 14:13, do not be afraid. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will accomplish for you today. And the sea split wide open. When was the last time you received a phone call that changed everything? When was the last time an opportunity appeared out of nowhere that solved the exact problem keeping you awake at night? Listen to me carefully. Your phone is about to ring, and it won't be just any call. It will be the call, the one that makes your heart skip a beat, the one that makes you drop to your knees and whisper, only you could do this, God. That door you've been knocking on for years, it's about to swing wide open, not just cracked wide open with a welcome so warm it melts away every rejection you've ever faced. And that person, the one who walked away, the one whose absence left a hole in your heart that nothing else could fill, they're being moved by the Holy Spirit right now. Their heart is softening, their mind is changing, and they're going to reach out to you with an apology so sincere it will heal wounds you thought would pain you forever. How do I know this? Because God doesn't bring you to the edge of your miracle just to push you off a cliff. He brings you to the edge of your Red Sea to show you His power. You see, God has been writing your breakthrough story all along. Every tear you shed was collected. Every prayer you whispered was heard. Every night you couldn't sleep, He was working. Isaiah 43:19 declares, "Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert." Do you know what's happening in the spiritual realm right now? Can you sense it? Angels are being dispatched to your situation. Heavenly messengers with assignments that concern you specifically. They're knocking on doors you can't see. They're arranging divine appointments you didn't schedule. They're delivering answers to prayers you prayed so long ago you almost forgot you asked. Your breakthrough isn't coming, it's already been released. When a woman had been bleeding for 12 years, doctors gave up on her. Her condition was medically impossible to cure. But the exact moment she touched the hem of Jesus' garment, what was impossible became instantly possible. Mark 5:29 tells us, "Immediately her bleeding stopped, and she felt in her body that she was freed from her suffering." Immediately, not gradually, not eventually, immediately. Chosen one, look around you. Do you see how the pieces are aligning? Do you recognize the signs? That random conversation that sparked an idea, that unexpected refund that arrived in your account, that dream that woke you with your heart pounding. These aren't coincidences. They're divine coordinates leading you to your Red Sea moment when what looks impossible becomes your testimony. Right now, in this moment, as my voice reaches your ears, heaven is shaking on your behalf. The foundations of your problem are crumbling. The walls of your Jericho are about to come crashing down. Your phone will ring, the door will open. The person who turned away will apologize, and you will know, only God could do this. The impossible is becoming possible right before your eyes. The miracle you've been waiting for isn't just coming, it's breaking through. I want you to do something right now. This isn't just a suggestion, this is a prophetic instruction. Type in the comments, "I'm ready for the unbelievable." Those 5 words are more than a comment, they're a declaration of faith. They're you standing at your Red Sea, raising your staff like Moses, expecting the waters to part. When you type those words, you're telling heaven, "I believe." You're positioning yourself to receive what God has already released. Type it now. I'm ready for the unbelievable. If you believe that the extraordinary is coming on God's schedule, not yours. This is your moment to align with heaven's timetable. The impossible is now becoming your reality, and all of heaven is watching to see your face when you finally receive what you've waited for so long. Are you ready? Do you sometimes feel a strange connection with strangers you pass on the street? That unexplainable moment when your eyes meet and something deeper than words passes between you? There's a reason for that, chosen one. You are not alone in this awakening. Right now, at this exact moment, thousands upon thousands of souls are feeling the exact same stirring that you feel. From the crowded streets of New York to the quiet farmlands of Kansas, from high-rise apartments to humble country churches, God's chosen ones are rising. The prophet Joel spoke of this very moment when he declared, "And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit on all flesh. Your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions." Joel 2:28. Do you understand what this means? This isn't just your breakthrough. This is a generational uprising of divine purpose. The dreams keeping you up at night, the visions flooding your mind during prayer, these aren't isolated experiences. They're part of a sacred symphony God is orchestrating across the earth. When you feel that burning in your spirit at 3 a.m., there's someone in California feeling it too. When you're driving to work and tears suddenly fill your eyes for no reason, There's a grandmother in Florida experiencing the same divine touch. When scripture suddenly illuminates with meaning you never saw before, thousands of others are having their eyes opened to the exact same truths. Why now? Why this moment in history? Because darkness has never been darker. Because the world has never been more desperate for light. Because the enemy knows his time is short, and he's unleashing everything he has to distract, discourage, and destroy God's chosen ones. But he's too late. The awakening has already begun. Think of it like this. When a single candle burns in a dark room, its impact is beautiful but limited. But when thousands of candles ignite simultaneously across the world, that's not just light, that's a revolution of illumination that cannot be stopped. Your awakening serves a purpose beyond yourself. Ephesians 2:10 tells us, "For we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand, that we should walk in them." Did you catch that? Prepared beforehand. Before you drew your first breath, God had already ordained this moment of awakening. He positioned you exactly where you are, with your specific gifts, your unique voice, your particular sphere of influence, because there are people who will only hear his truth through you. But here's what keeps me up at night, chosen one. What if some of God's chosen ones don't recognize their calling? What if they dismiss these divine stirrings as coincidence or imagination? What if they're waiting for a burning bush when God is speaking through the quiet whisper in their heart? This is why your awakening matters beyond yourself. Because you're not just called to receive, you're called to awaken others. When Moses encountered God at the burning bush, he didn't just receive a personal blessing. He was commissioned to lead an entire nation out of bondage. When Paul was struck blind on the Damascus road, it wasn't just for his personal transformation, it was so he could open the eyes of the Gentile world. Look around you, your family members who've lost hope, your co-workers drowning in meaningless pursuits, your neighbors medicating their emptiness with possessions and pleasure. They're waiting, whether they know it or not, for someone to awaken them to their true purpose. That someone is you. But here's the beautiful truth that should strengthen your heart. You don't carry this burden alone. Across this nation, across this world, an army of the awakened is rising. People just like you, who feel what you feel, who see what you see, who hear what you hear. Isaiah 60:1 commands us, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon you." This isn't a suggestion, it's a divine directive. Arise, shine. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, not when circumstances are perfect, but now. So I ask you, chosen one, will you embrace not just your personal awakening, but your role in this divine movement? Will you recognize that the fire God has ignited within you isn't meant to be hidden, but to join with thousands of others to illuminate this dark world? The time for isolation is over. The season of wondering if you're the only one who feels this way has passed. You are part of something so much bigger than yourself, a holy convergence of souls who've been prepared for such a time as this. Comment, "I rise with others," if you feel in your spirit that you are part of this global awakening. Don't just read these words, declare your place in this divine movement. Your comment isn't just text on a screen, it's a spiritual declaration that echoes in the heavenly realms. Chosen one, the question isn't whether God is moving. The question is, will you move with him? Because what's coming isn't just a blessing for individuals, it's a revival for nations. And it starts with you recognizing you are not alone. But what exactly is God preparing his chosen ones for in this unprecedented hour? What is the divine assignment that requires such a massive, simultaneous awakening? The answer will shake you to your core. Listen closely, chosen one. What I'm about to tell you might shock you to your core. The extraordinary breakthrough coming your way, that financial blessing, that healing, that restored relationship, it's not just for you. God didn't select you to be merely a recipient of miracles. He's calling you to be a carrier of them. When Moses encountered the burning bush, did God just want to show him a supernatural sight? No. He was preparing Moses to lead an entire nation out of bondage. When God gave Joseph dreams of greatness, was it just to make him feel special? No. It was because Joseph would later save nations from famine. Do you think it's an accident that you're hearing this message today? That out of billions of people on this planet, you were led to this video at this exact moment. Your struggles haven't been random. Your pain hasn't been pointless. Everything you've endured has been preparation, not just for your breakthrough, but for your mission. In Esther 4:14, Mordecai asked Queen Esther, "Who knows whether you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this?" I'm asking you the same question today. Look around you. Look at your family members battling depression. Look at your neighbors drowning in debt. Look at your friends searching for purpose. They need what you're about to receive. When God blesses you financially, it's not just to ease your burden, it's so you can become a river of provision to others. When God heals your body, it's not just so you can feel better, it's so you can lay hands on the sick and watch God work through you. When God restores your marriage, it's not just for your happiness, it's so you can guide others through the wilderness of broken relationships. Do you understand what I'm saying? You are about to become living proof that God still moves mountains. Isaiah 60:1 declares, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." Can you feel it? That stirring in your spirit. That's not just excitement, that's divine appointment. When you stand up in your full authority as God's chosen vessel, the darkness around you has no choice but to flee. Depression breaks, addiction shatters, poverty crumbles. Think about this. What if the miracle you've been praying for is actually waiting for you to deliver it to someone else? What if your breakthrough is tied to your willingness to become a light bearer? Right now, someone in your life is hanging by a thread. They're one bad day away from giving up entirely. They need more than a text message or a phone call. They need a divine encounter. And God has positioned you to be the vessel. When Peter walked past the lame man at the beautiful gate, he didn't just pray quietly. He declared, "Silver and gold I do not have, but what I do have I give you. In the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, rise up and walk." Can you see it? The power that's about to flow through you isn't just for you. It's meant to flow through you. You're not just a container, you're a conduit. You're not just a believer, you're a bearer of light. You're not just saved, you're commissioned. This is why your breakthrough hasn't come yet. God isn't just preparing a blessing, He's preparing a messenger. He's waiting until you're ready not just to receive, but to give. Are you ready for this higher calling? Are you willing to be more than just blessed, but to become a blessing? Are you prepared to step into your divine assignment as a carrier of miracles? The moment you shift your focus from, "God, what can you do for me?" to, "God, what can you do through me?" that's when the floodgates will truly open. Right now, I need you to do something bold. Tag a friend who needs a miracle in the comments below. Not tomorrow, not later. Right now, when you tag them, you're declaring, "I will be your witness. I will stand with you. The same God who's about to move mountains in my life will move mountains in yours." This is your moment of decision. Will you remain a spectator of God's power, or will you become a demonstrator of it? Remember this, the miracle you're about to receive isn't the end of your story. It's only the beginning. Your testimony is about to become someone else's lifeline. Your breakthrough is about to become someone else's doorway to hope. You are the chosen one, not just to receive, but to give. Not just to be blessed, but to become the blessing. Are you ready to discover how God is going to equip you for this divine assignment? Because what's coming next will leave you speechless. Chosen one, lean in closer. What I'm about to tell you isn't just information, it's confirmation. The very fact that you're hearing these words right now is divine proof that heaven has you on its radar. You've been crying out in the secret place, haven't you? Those midnight prayers, those tears that no one else has seen. Those moments when you wondered if God had forgotten your address. But tell me, have you noticed something shifting in the atmosphere around you lately? Those unexpected phone calls? Those strange coincidences? The way certain doors are suddenly creaking open? That's not random, beloved. That's God setting the stage for what He's about to reveal in your life. In Scripture, we read about those who waited. Joseph waited 13 years from his dream to his destiny. David waited 15 years from his anointing to his coronation. Abraham waited 25 years for his promised son. But here's what most people miss. God wasn't ignoring them during the waiting. He was preparing them. Hebrews 10:36 tells us, "For you have need of endurance, so that when you have done the will of God you may receive what is promised." Your waiting hasn't been punishment. It's been preparation. The enemy wants you to believe you've been forgotten, that your prayers are too small, your faith too weak, your past too stained. He wants you to give up right before your breakthrough arrives. But today, heaven is breaking protocol. Today, God is stepping out of eternity and into your living room, your car, wherever you're watching this right now. My beloved child, I have seen every tear you've cried in the night. I have heard every whisper you've spoken in the darkness. When you thought I was silent, I was actually moving mountains behind the scenes. In this very hour that I speak to you, my door is open before you, and no one can shut it. Do you recognize those words? Revelation 3-8. I know your works. Behold, I have set before you an open door, which no one is able to shut. I know that you have little power, and yet you have kept my word and have not denied my name. That door isn't opening tomorrow. It's not opening next week. It's not opening next year. That door is already open. When doors seem closed in the natural, God has already opened supernatural doors that no human, no demon, no circumstance can shut. Can you feel it? The shift happening in the spiritual atmosphere around you right now. Some of you are experiencing chills running down your spine. Others feel a weight lifting off your shoulders. Some are fighting back tears. These are not emotional reactions. They are spiritual confirmations. Let me share what the Lord revealed to me about your situation specifically. You've been labeled overlooked by others, but heaven calls you strategically positioned. You've been called delayed by society, but God calls you divinely timed. You felt abandoned in your circumstances, but the Father calls you protected for purpose. The adversity you faced wasn't meant to destroy you. It was designed to distinguish you from the crowd. Do you know why most people never experience their true breakthrough? Because they give up in the final moments of testing. They abandon their post right before relief arrives. Job 14:7, -9 declares, "For there is hope for a tree, God's chosen one. You won't believe what God's about to make happen. Watch now." Have you felt that strange stirring in your spirit lately? Those unexplainable chills running down your spine at random moments? The sudden tears that come without reason? It's not just you. It's heaven trying to get your attention. Chosen one. Yes, you watching right now. This isn't random. This isn't coincidence. This is divine appointment. God has guided your fingers to this very video because He has a message specifically for you. A message so urgent, the angels themselves are restless with anticipation. The veil between heaven and earth is thinning right where you are. Can you feel it? That heaviness in the atmosphere? That's the weight of divine revelation about to break through. Something extraordinary is about to happen in your life. Something so magnificent, so unexpected, that when it manifests, you'll fall to your knees in awe. God has been preparing this moment for you since before you were born. The struggles you've endured, the tears you've cried when no one was watching, the prayers that seemed to hit the ceiling and fall back down, they weren't in vain. They were preparation. Your season of waiting is over. I need you to hear me. Your season of waiting is over. Heaven is erupting with activity over your situation right now. The angels are positioning themselves. Spiritual forces are aligning. And God Himself is about to demonstrate His power in your life in ways that will leave those around you speechless. Comment 888 below right now if you feel that something big is coming. Don't just read this passively. Your engagement is an act of faith. Like this video as a spiritual declaration that you're ready to receive what God has prepared. I want to thank every single one of you who has supported this ministry through Super Thanks. Your generosity means more than you know. You're not just donating. You're sowing seeds into fertile ground, helping spread divine light to others who feel alone in their calling. Whether you give or not, I'm deeply grateful for your presence here. Your support, your time, your attention, it all matters in the spiritual realm. Listen closely, chosen one. The heavens are about to open. What's coming isn't just a blessing, it's a complete divine realignment of everything you've been praying for. Are you ready? Have you ever wondered why your path has been harder than others? Why doors that swing wide open for some remain stubbornly locked for you? Why your prayers seem to echo in empty rooms while others receive instant answers? These aren't coincidences, they're confirmations. When was the last time you felt truly seen? Not by the world with its shallow judgments, but by the Creator who knit you together in your mother's womb. The one who counted every hair on your head before you took your first breath. Listen to me carefully. Your life is not random. Your existence is not an accident. You are a deliberate creation, handpicked by God for this exact moment in history. The divine fingerprints are all over your story, even the chapters you wish you could tear out. The world looks at you and sees ordinary. Heaven looks at you and sees extraordinary potential that hasn't yet been unleashed. Your name is etched in divine records, marked for a purpose that's bigger than anything you've dared to dream. Those tears you've cried in the middle of the night, God collected every single one. That pain that cut so deep you couldn't breathe, He felt it with you. The rejection that made you question your worth. It was preparation, not punishment. Don't you see it yet? You've been in divine training. Remember Joseph? Before he ever stood in Pharaoh's palace, he languished in a prison cell, forgotten and abandoned. Before he saved nations, he was sold by his own brothers. Before he wore royal robes, he wore the garments of a slave. Did God abandon him in those dark moments? No, every betrayal was positioning him. Every setback was setting him up. Every delay was developing him for his destiny. Your story echoes his. Those relationships that crumbled, those opportunities that vanished, those dreams that died, they weren't the end. They were making space for something greater. You are being positioned for a purpose that requires every ounce of your pain as preparation. What if I told you that Moses spent 40 years in the wilderness before he ever saw a burning bush? 40 years of silence. 40 years wondering if God had forgotten him. Yet it was in that wilderness that he was being shaped into the deliverer of a nation. Your wilderness has purpose. Your waiting has meaning. Your suffering is sacred ground where God is doing his deepest work. Or consider David, anointed as king, then hunted like an animal, promised a throne, then forced to hide in caves. Did the delay mean denial? Did the suffering signal abandonment? No. It was in those caves that the psalmist was born. It was in those desperate moments that he learned to worship. It was in the